How are you? Are you all right?
Hi, teacher. Yeah.
That's
Hi,
okay.
teacher.
Go there. We're gonna start. Last class we were explaining about past modal verbs. No, remember unreal situations in the past, something that didn't happen, but all of them are suppositions. No, suppositions. We check this part. Huh? Must have been, should have studied, it's a regret about the past, had to go. In this case, it's an obligation. Not all the time past, probably past modal verbs have to be unreal situation in the past. If they mean it's an obligation, then or ability in the past, then you can use had to go, couldn't fix. But the others that indicate that are regrets, advices in the past, probabilities, assumption, then we can use the other should have, could have, can have, must have, couldn't have. Yeah, for example, here couldn't have seen expressing something that was impossibility. Yeah, but in the past, obviously. Mhm. So it says exercise number 2, complete sentences with past modal verbs. I want you to do this activity for 5 minutes. Yeah. It says here, I did tell you about Joe's party. Yeah. So the answer should be the first one. You cannot been listening. Yeah. I won't show you the others yet. As I said, you can, if you add been plus ing form or been plus passive voice. Yeah? In this case, can have been. I want you to spend 5 minutes doing this activity. The first one, I will tell you, can have been listening. Listening. But remember, there are other options. Should have, must have, could have, might have, would have. Yeah, some of them, if you think it's passive voice or continuous form, then you add been. If it's not continuous form or a passive voice, then you just erase been and you put um, the other verb in past participle, right? Should have been, must have been, shouldn't have, also optional. Remember all of them. Well, not except mustn't have. No. Remember the negative of must have. It is can have. Mm. I want you to remember, if you are not sure, you can go back to the grammar at the back of your book, unit 10, and you can do it. But try to do it, this activity. Mhm. So spend 5 minutes in this activity. After the 5 minutes, I'm going to play the listening. So in order to check if you're going to the right direction or if you were totally opposite. Mhm. Number 1 is already done. Ahí está ya la primera. Can have been listening. By the way, we are on page 103. 103. Mhm. Hi, Monica. We are doing this activity, activity number 2. It's page 103. It's adding past modal verbs. Yeah, the example number 1, it's already done for you. Can have been listening, or try to do it on your own. You have to choose should have, shouldn't have, must have, can have, could have, might have, would have. As well, if you're putting it in ing form, then you have to add been in ing form. Or if you think it's passive voice, been plus the past participle of the verb. Here you have an advantage because you already have the verbs. No? So that's good advantage for you.
Recording in progress.
2 more minutes and then I play the listening. All right, we check. Pay attention, listen,
10.4
and compare your answers.
Everyday situations. 1,
I did tell you about Joe's party. You can't have been listening.
2,
Thanks so much for all your help. I couldn't have managed without you. Thanks so much for all your help. I wouldn't have managed without you.
3,
Chocolates for me? Oh, that's so kind, but really you shouldn't have.
4,
Come on, we're only 5 minutes late. The film won't have started yet.
5,
I don't believe that Kathy's going out with Mark. She would have told me. I know she would.
6,
We raced to the airport, but we needn't have worried. The flight was delayed.
7,
We've got a parcel here that isn't for us. It must have been delivered by mistake.
8,
You shouldn't have gone swimming in that river. You could have drowned.
Okay, sorry, I forgot to mention this. Won't have, needn't have, will have sometimes. The only one that reflects in present or now, there are two, won't have or will have. That's the only one that reflects like situations that kind of started in the past and still reflects on the present. Is the only one. Yeah, I don't know if I explain myself. It's kind of present perfect, more or less like that. Anyways, I'm going to play it once and I explain, right? One more time, check.
.4 Everyday situations. 1,
I did tell you about Joe's party. You can't have been listening.
2,
Thanks so much for all your help. I couldn't have managed without you. Thanks so much for all your help. I wouldn't have managed without you.
Here there are two possibilities. Which ones? No, 2 times, come on. There are two possibilities.
The first is with
Wouldn't have.
Would,
have.
wouldn't have, and the other is
Can have.
in past, couldn't
Couldn't.
have. Couldn't have and wouldn't have.
3,
Chocolates for me? Oh, that's so kind, but really you shouldn't have.
Only one possibility here.
You shouldn't.
And don't
Wouldn't
forget,
have.
you shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Don't forget have.
4,
Come on, we're only 5 minutes late. The film won't have started yet.
Won't have.
Won't have started yet.
5,
I don't believe that Kathy's going out with Mark. She would have told me. I know.
Actually, the last part gives you the answer.
She won't have.
Only she said it in a contracted form. What is the last part? She'd have. She would have. She would have, or she'd have also. You can say that. She'd have. You can use both.
Oh, she would.
6,
We raced to the airport, but we needn't have worried. The flight was delayed.
Only one possibility
Didn't
here. Didn't have. It's I was telling I was explaining the other day that didn't have is another way to say you didn't need to. It's another way to say that. You didn't need to. We didn't need to worry, to be worried about. No, we didn't need to be worried about. It's another way to say didn't need to. Didn't have. Didn't have.
7,
We've got a parcel here that isn't for us. It must have been delivered by mistake.
It
Must
It
have.
Must
must have delivered by mistake.
8,
You shouldn't have gone swimming in that river. You could have drowned.
You
shouldn't care.
shouldn't have, and you
Could have.
could have drawn. Exactly. When we say shouldn't have, it's like regaño. It's like telling off someone. Either your son, your friend, even your parent, anyone. Yeah, it's like a regaño because you did something really, really wrong. So you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have. It's like regaño. Yeah, it's telling off someone. All right, we continue, guys. We're not doing the conversation. I don't consider it so important. So instead of this is a tricky conversation. If you want, I could. I forgot to share the audios. I will share the audios for Unit 10 and Unit 11. So in case that you don't come or you want to practice, I will share it these days. Tomorrow, probably. I will share this. Instead, we will be doing the next exercise, exercise 6. Look at the photo. Imagine the couple in the car. There is a couple inside the car. No, it's a van, kind of a family van. And these people are your friends. Tell them about their lucky escape. So this is the background, the context. We decided, who would like to read? Who says me? Emiliano, can you read this part?
We decided to go for a drive. Eventually, it was still blowing a gale. And look what happened. We were so lucky.
Blowing a gale is like super windy. Yeah, super, super windy. Then you obviously you have to comment. Yeah, we were so lucky, nothing happened. Well, just that, that you are seeing here. So you can use these expressions. Perhaps you shouldn't have driven on that way. You must have felt fear because of the weather. It was super windy. You could have been killed by that tree. Yeah, luckily nothing happened. You must have been a little bit terrified. The car must be or mustn't be working properly. Don't you think you shouldn't have decided to do that? Why didn't you? I want you to think, yeah, it's like telling off your friend and all the probabilities and suppositions that happen. And in order to do that, we use the past modal verb. You shouldn't have, you needn't have gone out. It was okay just staying at home. You needn't have gone out. That's my example. Don't copy my examples. So I want you to work with a partner. Yeah, you have those useful expressions. You could use more other expressions. Needn't have, can have, other. It is wouldn't have, also would have or wouldn't have, would have or wouldn't have. Yeah, there are more options over there. I want you to participate, take turns, one say one sentence. Yeah. In this case, it is in present. You must feel terrified. You could have been. Some of them are in like normal, no? Why didn't you take my advice? Why didn't you listen to the news, the weather forecast, etc.? Yes, 5 minutes, and then we come back. Yeah, try to participate, open your mic, suppositions in past. Yeah, remember, it's all about unreal situation that didn't happen, but it's, you are like kind of telling of your friend. Okay, so let's make this in pairs. Join the groups, please, so you can participate. Litzy, can you join because it got you out?
Ah, sí, pero no tengo la notificación.
It's according to the audio.
10.7. We were so lucky.
We decided to go for a drive, even though it was still blowing a gale. And look what happened. We were so lucky.
Oh my goodness, you could have been badly hurt. You must have been terrified.
Why didn't you see the tree falling?
We just didn't. It all happened so fast.
Surely you heard something.
We could just hear the wind.
Don't you think you should have been driving more slowly?
We were.
Perhaps you shouldn't have been driving at all. The car must be a write-off.
It is.
You must feel very lucky indeed.
We do.
Okay, so those were ideas, different ideas, but the main idea was to telling of your friend, yeah, and suppositions in past, no, unreal situation in the past. Okay, we focus on the reading. Spoken English, we don't do it. We focus on the reading part. The reading part is this: the Vikings. Have you ever heard about the Vikings?
Yes, I heard.
Did you know that they visited or they explored first America? Cristobal Columbus was the second who arrived. I mean, they arrived in the north part, and well, Cristobal Columbus arrived in the south, not in the islands. Cuba, those islands that are below. I'm not sure if it's Atlantic Ocean, but it must be there. Yeah, so Vikings, there is a TV show. I highly recommend the TV show. If you are interested in history, if you are interested in this culture, I just love this culture. I had the opportunity to go one Scandinavian country, three Scandinavian countries, and Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Those are Viking countries, and they influence a lot in their culture. They were influenced, and those countries are influenced by Vikings. They are like wow, it's amazing. And I highly recommend the Viking TV show. It's on Netflix. There are 5 seasons. It can be tedious and a bit boring at the beginning, but as you get really into the plot, you'll be fascinated. So I will share a link of a trailer of the TV show. In the meantime, the Vikings, raiders, raiders, that means raids, like aggressive people to invade other lands and sometimes do bad things and steal. That is called raiders. Traders, because they trade, they sell, they swap, they do this interchanging of goods. sometimes food, sometimes minerals, sometimes precious objects and things like that. And interpret explorers. Actually, it was the exploration. This was the main reason that are known for. No, they are known for being experts at exploring. During that time, long time ago, they didn't have any compass. They created their own compass. They were guided by, they were guided by the star. Yeah, it's fine. It's correct to say that. And they were advanced in their own civilization, no? So that's what, well, in my case, I consider it really interested. I am into Vikings culture. Yeah, actually, I have a tattoo because of that. From the fury of the Northmen, O Lord, deliver us, deliver us. The year is 793 AD after, Christ. And this was the petrified cry of ancient Anglo-Saxons pleading with God to save them from the Viking or Norsemen for nearly 300 years from the 8th to 11th century AD. This warrior race set out from Scandinavian on raids and voyage of discovery and colonization across the northern world. They struck fear in the hearts of people of Europe. Both the archaeology of their settlements and the literature of their sagas reveal complex and fascinating culture. They were not only violent raiders and pillagers, they were a lot else besides. And did you know that some days in English are inspired by Viking gods? For example, how do you say jueves in English?
Thursday.
Thursday. If we just split Thursday, Thor, do you recognize Thor?
Yeah, it's a god, no?
He's a god of thunder and rain. How do you say viernes, the next day?
Friday.
Friday. Did you know that it was from a goddess called Freya? Freya.
Okay.
And how do you say martes?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. You know that it is for the god Tyr. It's a god, a Viking god. I'm not sure if it's the war. I think it's the war. And that's it. And yeah, there's other Wednesday because of the war, something like that. The pronunciation, I'm not good at Norwegian or Viking language. But yeah, so that's why it's really important. These guys influence the language a bit. So what I want you to do is to read about the Vikings, guys. We're going to read together. If the time finishes, I would like you to continue reading. Yeah. The number one, Marco, can you read the striking looking race? This striking.
This striking looking race with their blonde hair and blue eyes were descended from Germanic tribes that settled in what is new Scandinavia. Most Vikings were at heart farmers and fishermen, not warriors. They grow vegetables and cereal crops and tended their livestock. Skilled Vikings, craftsmen include blacksmiths, leather workers, and jewelers. Jewelers.
Thank you. Elizabeth, number two, they worship.
They worship a variety of gods. Chief among them were Odin, Thor, and Frey. Today we recall them as Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's said that Odin created the runes, the 24 letters of the Old Norse alphabet. These were carved on stone tablets with the scenes of Norse myths.
Miss, thank you very much. Jessica Sanchez is here. Next, number 3, above all.
Above all, the Vikings were skillful shipbuilders and navigators. With their magnificent longships, they embarked on voyages of exploration far away and wide, from Britain to Baghdad, trading their iron, furs, and greenstones for goods which they could not get home, such as silk, glass, and silver.
Yeah, number 4, Jessica Paula. However, it's not here, Sarai.
However, in the late 8th century, trading was replaced by raiding. Having the fastest ships of the day, they sprang surprise attacks on European monasteries, therefore extorting protection money as a price of peace. This was known as Danakil. This region of terror began in 793 with a fictitious attack on England's Lythanters monastery.
Number 5, continue reading this, Litzy, please. By the myth.
In the mid-9th century, the Vikings were seeking to increase their wealth and power even further. They struck out across the unwalking Atlantic and in 870 reached Iceland. As many as 12,000 Viking immigrants ultimately settled there, setting up the Althing, the oldest parliament in the world.
Okay, guys, so for homework, you read number 6 and number 7, and I want you to do this exercise 5, vocabulary. Yeah, vocabulary, only vocabulary. That would be it. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you then Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Have a nice
Hey, you
Bye,
teacher.
teacher.
See you later, guys.